The Heart's Eye, written by Abdul Qadir Gilani, discusses the characteristics and signs of the friends of Allah in this conversation. It addresses the dangers of desiring sustenance not destined for one, the causes of blindness of the heart's eye and lack of discernment. It is mentioned that if a faithful brother advises you, follow it, do not oppose or resist it. Sometimes you might not see your mistakes, but he does. A great prophet once said, "A believer is a mirror to another believer." A believer gives correct advice, revealing to his brother hidden faults, showing what he cannot see, and declaring what is good and bad. I am inspired by Allah to advise people. This duty is my greatest goal. I am an advisor, not expecting anything in return. My reward is with my Lord in the hereafter. I am not a seeker of this world, not a slave to it. Nothing but Allah binds me, I have no one else. I am a servant and slave to the eternal Creator, the owner of the beginning and the end. My joy is in your salvation, my sorrow arises from the potential of your destruction. The happiness of someone I guide is my greatest joy. When I see this, my soul rejoices, my inner fire cools, and I am pleased to see such a person grow. My son, all my concern is for you, not for me. If I rejoice, it is for you. Do not love me for my sake, instead, be devoted to me for your sake. The more you are devoted to me, the further you will advance. Abandon arrogance, do not display greatness before Allah, and do not act proudly towards others. Know your limits, imbue humility in your being. First, consider your state. Do you know what follows? You are like a weight rolling into a pit. Does it suit one in such a state to boast? Do not be carried away by evil desires, do not rush to the doors of worldly people. It is unnecessary for you to suffer and struggle to extract worldly benefits from them. Wouldn't it be better to seek your share through patience and the right path? Remember, the greatest misfortune, as Prophet Muhammad said, is to seek what is not in your destiny. You do not understand the essence of fate and what is destined. What is not in your fate will not be given by people. The power of the worldly is insufficient for this. If you think otherwise, you are mistaken. Satan is deceiving you. He sits upon you, dictating his orders, and you follow his path. A servant of Allah should not be like this. In this state, you are a slave to Satan and your desires, worshipping gold, silver, and the world. Work, look at the liberated ones, and try to resemble them. If you do not see them, you cannot be saved. The ancients said the same, if a person does not see well, they cannot be good. You see, but only with your physical eyes. You do not use your heart's eye. Open your inner eye, do not close the eye of faith. Faith, like a trust, resides in you. Faith without discernment is not true faith. Possess an eye with which you can see every existence. The physical eye's ability to see or not is not important, the real disaster is the blindness of the heart's eye. Allah Almighty says in a noble verse, "It was not their eyes that were blind, but the hearts in their breasts." Chasing after the worldly is unbecoming. Clinging to the world with desire is like exchanging one's religion for a fig, trading the infinite and eternal for temporary worldly gains. No matter how valuable, worldly possessions cannot take you far, they do not pass beyond the grave. When the journey to the true family begins, you will have nothing left. Neither this nor that remains. Faith not reaching perfection cannot withstand much hardship. You will spend your past, depending on others for worldly needs. If you have nothing, you will waste your religion. Do not degrade yourself for their sake. Once your faith reaches perfection, you will need to trust in Allah. Work, but trust in Allah. Do not overly trust in means, let's separate from them and trust in the Lord. Start a spiritual journey from your heart towards the Lord. If you intend to do these, the countries, shops, and stalls will disappear from your path. When you take the first step on this journey, your wealth will increase immeasurably. But knowing their true owner, you will not claim any of them. Your children will own them, your friends will look to you, and you will have nothing to do but wait for the end of your life. It's as if the angel of death has taken your soul, the grave has swallowed you, the earth has split and you have entered it, and the waves of fate are turning you in the sea of knowledge and enlightenment. At this station, causes cannot guide you. Everything becomes harmless to you because causes can only reach your outer loneliness, not your inner world. They crush those who are not with the truth. My son, you seem reluctant to do what I have described, unwilling to rid your heart of evils. I know that doing all these things is not within everyone's capacity, it is the capacity of very few, perhaps only one in a generation. But do not abandon even a little. Whatever you do will remain with you. I will cite a hadith that confirms our words in spirit, although it may seem unrelated in its external meaning. Stay away from worldly troubles as much as you can. We say, try to fulfill this command as much as you can. If it is in your fate, you can do more. My son, if you have the strength to take the world, do so. If not, bind your heart to Allah. Cling to His mercy, perhaps in this way, you will enter His peace, find comfort in your outer existence, and worldly actions will leave and go their own way. The one who can is the one who knows everything. Run to His door, ask Him for purification. If He wills, He will cleanse you from all kinds of existence and trust, fill your heart with faith, grant knowledge, wisdom, and even wealth, but you will feel nothing towards people, granting you a closeness to Him, showering His affection in your heart. Then all your senses will be with Him, expect everything from Him, leave others. Do not be humiliated before the created, this does not suit you. Be His, belong to Him, be with Him. This suits you, there is no other way to salvation. Know this well. My child, the knowledge uttered by the tongue without the heart's involvement is worthless. No progress can be made with knowledge that the heart does not embrace. The journey we speak of is a journey of the heart, a merging of secrets. Deeds in Islam are those actions performed in accordance with the principles of Islam. This is the meaning of action. In this path, all your emotions must be organized and mobilized for the sake of Allah. This is what it means to act for Allah, to show ease and gentleness to His creatures. This is the essence of our path. A person who constantly examines their own ego will have no need for external accountability. Those who perform actions for the sake of showing off to others gain nothing. Their actions should be free from traces and hypocrisy. Except for obligatory worship, everything should be done in private, away from the eyes of the public. Even obligatory acts should not always be performed in public. You are lacking in what truly needs to be done, having built the upper levels of your structure on a foundation that is doubtful and unstable. What use is it to elevate the upper floors if the foundation is weak? A building with a weak foundation will soon collapse, but a strong foundation can always be rebuilt upon. The essence of the actions you should undertake is unity, tawhid, and sincerity, ikhlas. There is no right path without them. Do not expect your actions to be complete if you have not attained the secret of tawhid. Base all your actions on tawhid and ikhlas, then look to elevate your structure. Seek refuge in the strength of Allah, not in your own. The hand of construction is the hand of tawhid, the hand of polytheism, shirk, and hypocrisy, nifaq, grasps nothing. This is the one who raises the value of deeds at every moment. The hypocrite is not like this. O Allah, keep us away from the hypocrites, make them distant from us. Grant us goodness in this world and the hereafter, and protect us from the fire. O Allah, send blessings and peace upon our great Prophet, and may these blessings and peace extend to those who came after him and lived in his time, including his relatives. Give us abundant patience to walk this path, grant us strength. Increase your goodness to us, allow us to be grateful for what we have been given. My child, be patient. The world you are in is full of disasters and tribulations, and it is rare to find goodness that does not hide some calamity behind it. There is difficulty in every ease, and every comfort hides some hardship. Commit your material life to the world, but take your worth from lawful means. The vastness of your troubles lies therein, worldly gains that come from good sources will suffice you. My child, when you believe that your share is lawful, take it. When taking, take with the hand of faith. If you are seeking the true path, if you are among those who choose this, then take command from the right. If you have found the truth and reached the realm of Halil, Abraham, if you have lost yourself in the proximity of Allah, then a very different state becomes yours. Your judgment does not prevail there, commands are sent to you, guiding you. That realm moves you away from evil and activates your existence for good deeds. Things happen, but you are not present in them. I will divide people into 3 categories for you. The first is the ignorant, those who do not love the true realm. The second are the chosen and good ones. The third are the good ones themselves, those who are essentially good. To those who have no sensation or perception of the true realm, we refer to as Ami. This aligns with the fundamental principles of the Islamic religion, adhering strictly to what Allah has commanded and what our Prophet has said. Such a person knows these commands but cannot break through their outer shell and thus cannot transcend to other realms. This person is under the divine decree, follow what the Prophet has brought you and avoid what he has forbidden. The Ami I refer to chooses this path. If he conducts his affairs within the scope of the aforementioned decree, he becomes a person of pure heart. However, it is also essential for him to turn to his inner world. If he progresses a little further, gains more understanding of the truths, then Allah opens the door of inspiration to him. He chooses his good and evil through this inspiration. It is stated in the noble verse, Allah has bestowed upon him his good and evil. These described qualities are those of the Ami servant. This person's heart trembles from following the wrong path, constantly seeking a sign in everything. He reads the Quran, and if he cannot find it there, he looks to the commands of our Prophet. If he cannot find it there, he waits. While working, an angel guides him, illuminating his path. These descriptions begin after fulfilling the outward commands of Islam. Faith strengthens, the light of Tawhid settles in the heart, and then the world exits from the heart. Then, you become lost in seeing the welfare and surroundings of people. All material and fear leave, and you begin to observe divine inspiration. However, this is not something that the eye can see. Now it is morning, and the second state begins. You become affiliated with the good, the light of faith comes, and the light of piety, action, patience, love, and maturity also comes. All these lights merge, and now you become a complete human being. These are individual fruits, but they mature with the blessing of Islam after fulfilling its rites. Now, the phase of being a lover begins. Lovers are the good ones themselves, the choicest of the chosen. There is no higher station of servitude than this. In their actions, first, the command of Islam is considered, then direct command is taken, and then the divine movement and inspiration are awaited. Beyond the 3 things I have mentioned, there is no life, there is only spiritual death. There is sin upon sin, sickness upon sickness, trouble upon trouble, and only a headache remains. Because they have damaged the primary commands of religion, they have fallen into wandering and weariness in the heart, and now the body is also full of wounds and bruises. My child, the providence of the Lord is continuous upon you. Every moment, you evolve a little more. At the end of this evolution, pay attention to your workplace. Can you show brilliance, or do you disperse immediately? Let your falsehood and truthfulness be revealed. Those who do not conform to fate cannot find compassion, and no one will agree with them. The way of contentment is closed to those who do not submit to divine decrees, and no one is satisfied with them. Those who do not give will not receive anything. Those who do not embark on the journey cannot ride a horse. Do you, an ignorant person, want to manage and control? You cannot force things to happen as you wish. Do you think of yourself as a god? Allah is one and does not act according to anyone's whims. There is no existence other than Him. Turn away from these bad thoughts that come from your ego. Stop completely. If fate had not encompassed you, would this false claim have been thrown in your face? The essence becomes apparent at the end of the experience. Everything is empty without experience. Do not accept your ego, recognize the truth. Your ego wants you to deny the truth for its own sake. Start with denial and non-recognition from your ego. If you set it on the right path, then it will be easy, and gradually you will find what you seek. As your faith strengthens, evils will stay away from you. As the strength of faith weakens, evil fills your home. There comes a time when you cannot even throw a single evil out of your door because if your faith had been strong, they would never have entered. My child, the strength of faith is not something to be displayed carelessly. It reveals itself when you face Satan. If you can stand firm in your faith against the wicked without faltering, do not fear, for your faith is strong. Otherwise, do not resort to empty claims. If your faith is weak, strive to strengthen it. Can you stand firm against calamity and disaster? If you can, you are faithful and strong. The foot of faith does not slip into evil. If it does, it's not faith at all, so do not claim it falsely. Respect everything and love the Creator of everything. If He wishes something to be loved, love it. If He makes it lovable, you are not at fault because He is the one who inspires love. You belong to Him, you are nothing, only He exists. As an indication, our Prophet said, 3 things were made dear to me in this world: fragrant scents, women, and the comfort of my eyes in prayer. These were made lovable. Initially, they were abandoned, but then God made them lovable. Cleanse your heart so only God remains. Surrender to Him and let Him bring the love of what is necessary into your heart. He is generous and surely knows how to inspire love. My child, do you know the hypocrite wears fancy clothes but is dirty inside? He avoids tasks that are optional, thinking himself pious, selling his sanctity for survival. He does not avoid doubtful matters, consumes the forbidden, is lazy, does not work, and does not hesitate to do what is clearly prohibited. His acts of kindness are just for show. He acts so that people may see. His exterior is complete, but his interior is ruined. Woe to the man whose inside is corrupt, woe to him. Why do your actions not come from within, but are merely formalities? Our actions should come from within, from the heart and soul. These are the actions of your inner world and spirit. Escape from the deep mire you are in so I can lead you to the truth. I will dress you in a garment that you will never want to take off, a garment that remains untainted by any compensation. Leave the world's polytheism to the world and run to the truth. Cast aside the cloak of lust, abandon laziness. Leave them completely so that you may be dressed in this garment. Abandon obstinacy against God's commands, protect divine law, do not be self-important, do not belittle others, do not be one person inside and another outside. Do not wait for people to welcome you with ceremonies. Take off the worldly cloak and transition to the hereafter. Wear the garment of that realm. Strip yourself of all possessions, surrender your existence, leave your fate in God's hands. Stand before Him devoid of everything, ensuring that your state is free of polytheism and that causes do not interfere. Let no servants intervene. If you can do this, you will find His grace and generosity around you. His mercy will come, rectify your disordered affairs, and His blessing and gratitude will take you to the realm of His abundance. Flee to Him, set out on the path stark naked. Be neither yourself nor anyone else. Walk toward Him in pieces, separately. He will gather you and strengthen your outer world and enrich your inner world. Even if the entire universe closes its doors on you, if all faces turn against you, it will not harm you. You might be more protected and cared for. The person who destroyed the light of Tawhid in people and abandoned the world with the hand of asceticism, who did not receive anything from the noble and exalted and destroyed everything with the hand of desire, he has reached salvation, found the path of safety, and attained the mouth of both the world and the hereafter. My child, you must annihilate your ego, destroy the evil desires known as evadai, and prevent Satan from approaching. We must do this before we die, dissolve our existence through a special death before the general death that takes us all. My child, run to me, listen to my words, I am calling you to God. I invite you to His door and throne, not for myself. The hypocrite does not call to God for the sake of himself, the corrupt-hearted hypocrite seeks pleasure and wants the world. You who do not know, listening to our words burdens you. You shut yourself in your cell, staying with your ego and bad desires. First, you need someone who has attained the truth to take you by the hand and lead you to it. Then you will destroy your ego and what is known besides God. You will see them as dead. Salvation lies in this path. First, run to the doors of those whose hair has turned gray on the path of truth. Take what you need from them, then return to your cell. This time, be with God. There will be you and Him. After some time, you will disappear, and then who remains? Perhaps then you will understand. When this state ends, you become different. People will seek remedies for their heart's ailments from you and find what they seek. Whoever wishes to go to the truth, you will take them there, by the will of God. Those seeking the truth will certainly come to you. The man whose inside is not straight cannot control his tongue. Good things come out of his mouth, but inside he is bad. Make it good. You praise God with your tongue, but your heart opposes Him. How can this contradiction exist? You appear Muslim outwardly, but inside you are filled with blasphemy. Outwardly, you belong to the people of Tawhid, but you associate partners with God. If looked into, your interior is seen to be in ruins. What else can be said about your state except that it is like the white foam on water? White foam is also found in good places, in swamps, and in rubbish heaps. If your state is like this, if your affairs resemble this, what will become of you? Satan builds a palace in your heart, becomes your ruler, enforces his rule, and makes you do everything. He dulls your heart's eye. The person of faith first repairs the interior. The work begins from there. Then he looks to his outer world. The person of faith destroys the interior of his building, then beautifies the door. What use is a beautiful door if the interior is desolate? He values the door according to the interior's worth. A beautiful door is not knocked on if the interior is empty. Everyone knocks on the ugly door that contains beauty. This is how work for God begins, and this is how His pleasure is attained. After reaching this, by His permission, one can turn to people. The start should be with matters of the hereafter, the world follows. Whatever is in your fate, even if it comes late, you will receive it. The journey to the hereafter does not begin until they are finished. My child, our prophet said, God does not distress whom He loves, but He may send calamities as a test. The person of faith, when faced with this calamity, remains patient. God does not send any useless calamity. Every calamity is a precursor to some goodness, whether for this world or the hereafter. The faithful person faces the calamity with patience, accepts it because God sent it, does not blame his Lord, does not complain about why it happened. The believer deals with what he believes in. This struggle does not remind him of the calamity. Oh, those dealing with the world, leave it. Do not speak of it. You only talk with your tongues, not with your hearts. You are running away from God. Listening to His supreme words does not suit you. The prophet's words do not please you, nor do you recognize those who follow him. Yet what is unpleasant to you might be pleasant to him. My child, follow, and you too will become a follower. Submit to fate and destiny, do not neglect your service. If you are content with the decrees, so it will be. You will find rulers according to how you are. How you work, so you will see the result. The noble is noble, does not oppress his servants. He gives great rewards for little goodness. The clean and true are not called bad. The truthful are never named liars. My child, if you serve, you will be served. If you are gentle, you will not confront the stubborn. Serve the noble and exalted, not the fleeting sultans of this world. What benefit or harm can they bring? What have they given you so far? What have they thrown at you for their own benefit? Can any of them avert death or give you something not destined for you? Who has the power to give you what God has not decreed for you? Can they turn a good deed from their hands into the future? If you think so, it reveals a lack of faith. Do you not know that there is no giver, no receiver, no one who brings harm, or one who gives good? Only Allah can do these things. If you say you understand this, then I ask you, knowing this, how can you prefer others to the Master? Shame on you for sullying the hereafter with the world, for confusing the throne of the Lord with the throne of your ego, for mixing people with the divine. On one hand, you claim piety, and on the other, you show mercy to people instead of God. Are you pleased with what you do? Do you not know that Allah protects the righteous, wards off evils from them, teaches various knowledge, makes them recognize their ego, looks into their hearts, and provides sustenance from unknown sources? Allah the Exalted says in some scriptures, O children of Adam, be ashamed of me as you are of a good neighbor. Our Prophet also states a similar hadith: when a servant commits a sin, he closes his doors and draws his curtains, hiding from people, but he should be reminded, O child of Adam, you have made me the least of your observers. Yet you should have thought of me first and foremost. Our Prophet also says, me and the righteous of my ummah are free from ostentation, from insincere and forced deeds. The pious who act according to Allah's command perform their duty without coercion or need for enforcement, for worship and servitude to Allah are ingrained in their souls. The one with complete faith is whole, both inside and out. The hypocrite, with a corrupt heart, finds every action difficult. When it comes to worship, none is more reluctant. If they perform a religious duty, it's done forcibly and externally, while internally they are in complete chaos, never wanting to join the ranks of the faithful. If I say our words for the hypocrite are a bit far, it wouldn't be inappropriate. What can we say? He always reveals himself. Everything is created for everything, words for their place, men for their task. Warriors are created for battle. Turn back from the state you are in, hypocrites. Why are you making Satan laugh? Aren't you ashamed? As you do this, Satan rejoices. Nothing you do in this state is acceptable because your prayers are for the people, your fasting is for the people, none of it is for God. If you give charity, it's to benefit from the people. If you give alms to a needy person, it's to put them to work for you. You are the people who will be marked as bad. Unfortunately, in this world, mistakes are doomed to remain hidden, but soon your soul will enter hell. Do not grieve. If you want to escape, immediately follow the Prophet, avoid innovation in religion. If you do, the blazing fire awaits you, and you will enter the lowest level of hell. Repent, regret your actions, follow the path of the ancients, get used to walking the right path. There is no room for strangers on this path. The real and firm travelers of this path all resemble each other, following only the customs of the Prophet. In this path, there is no difficulty or action contrary to nature and reason. Could there be a better religion than one that governs thought and reason? If there were, it would be like this one. The religion that raised those before you, why wouldn't it raise you? They were more ignorant than you, their minds not as discerning as yours, but they had no spiritual downfall. Your spiritual downfall has destroyed and ruined you. You seek the best of everything material but flee from the spiritual. Your mind accepts only what your eyes see and rejects what they don't, except when it suits you. You wait for millions in return for giving 50 cents. How can this be? You open yourself up for the impossible but, when necessary, you read the Quran, listen to its commands, and then say, such things cannot be, because it doesn't suit you. But when your head hits hard wood, you understand everything better. It's a pity, you memorize the Quran and then do not follow its directives. You memorize the tools of our Prophet but do not do what he did. Why, in your state, what do you want to be and do? You call people to goodness but do not do it yourself. When you speak of evil to others, you commit the worst of it. Allah the Exalted says in a verse, why did you say what you cannot do? Why the discrepancy when it comes to good deeds? Doesn't it shame you to claim faith while being faithless? The person of faith endures everything, this is faith. Your faith bears every burden and smashes it to the ground. It's faith that shows bravery in battles, not material wealth. Faith discards transient things, dedicates the worldly for the path of Allah. The faithless spend their wealth on the path of Satan, not hesitating to give everything for the honor of their ego and evil desires. Goodness comes from the faithful, evil from the faithless. Those who lose the structure of truth follow the path chosen by the people, rushing to what they hold, cutting off from the right path, straying from the path of the people. If Allah wills good for someone, He locks the gates of the right path for them, cuts off their goodness. Therefore, they rush to the corners of the school, reducing their numbers, wandering the seashore, leaving what is non-existent, and going to what exists. Shame on you for standing in a waterless place. Soon summer will come, the waters beside you will recede, and the seashore will no longer be yours. Because you can't tolerate even the slightest harm, you will be miserable in the heat, just as you were in the winter. If you had stayed by the sea in the summer, you wouldn't have fallen into this state. Be with Allah, and you will become noble, finding riches and sovereignty. All sultans will come to you. A person who becomes rich with Allah, everything becomes dependent on him. These things I tell you are not mere wishes or hopes, they come with a certain attraction in the heart, brought by action. Indeed, this is the truth. My child, your principle should be silence. You must wear silence as you wear your head. Your entire desire should be to escape the evils of people, even to leave all creatures behind. If necessary, dig a shelter in the ground, enter it, and make this your habit so that your faith does not die and your forehead gains strength. This is how the wings of honesty spread and expand, how the heart's eye begins to see, how your existence broadens, and how you start to fly in the void of divine knowledge. You roam the east and west, the sea and ocean, wander the shores and mountains, ascend to the sky, descend to the earth, and walk quietly. For your aspiration is high, and your companion is great. Then your tongue becomes loosened, your words become clear. You shed the garment of silence, there's no need to hide anymore. You enter among people with your secret, finding a nature that can heal their ailments. You become the cure for them, no harm is expected from you. Their few or many doesn't mean anything to you, their praise or blame holds no value. Wherever you leave your work, you will find it there, for the Lord is with you, your helper. My child, be decent and disciplined as long as your heart is away from him. You are not behaving decently towards him, but this too shall pass. Once your heart fully finds him, it won't be easy. You must strive until his wisdom fills your heart, then you will naturally become disciplined. When his light fills your eyes, whether you want to or not, you will look ahead. When the king mounts his horse, the voices of playing children in the streets fall silent. Don't you know they shout until the king exits the palace, but become utterly silent when he emerges, draped in the curtain of decency, for they are in the presence of the king. Some might even hide in a corner where the king can't see them. Turning to people for material benefit, turning away from the truth, whatever you devote your heart to other than God becomes an idol for you. Without leaving them and turning to God, there is no salvation for you. Immediately abandon people in terms of good and evil, don't see them as powerful. I see you as sick, hidden in fields, like rich people floundering in need. Your interior is dead, your exterior alive. Despite your non-existence, you want to carry an existence that the universe cannot contain. How much longer will you stay away from God? How much longer will you flee from him, building your world while destroying the other realm? Each of you has only one heart, how can you fit two things into it? Can both God and people fit in it? How is this possible? If one enters, the other flees. If you say it's not so, you lie. If it's a lie, then it's like the decree said by our prophet, lies drive away faith. Every heart leaks what's inside it. Your actions are evidence of your faith, your exterior shows your interior. Some elders say, the exterior is a sign for the interior. The people of God, his special servants, understand you quickly. If you fall into one of them, be respectful. Repent of your sins before meeting them, know that you are lesser in their presence, show them humility. Humility shown to good servants is for God, and whoever humbles themselves for God, he exalts them. Show your decency in the presence of everyone superior to you, for our prophet said, blessing and abundance are where your elders are. By this, he means not just age but maturity. What's the point of age without obeying God's command? When we say elder, it means someone mature in age and mind, who follows God's commands, avoids what he forbids, and acts according to the book and sunnah. If malice is in their face, they are not true elders. True elders walk according to God's command, refrain from looking at forbidden things, act according to their knowledge, and do not interfere in inappropriate matters. True elders are pure, fleeing from existence other than God, possessing a pure heart. They know God with the light that comes to them in brokenness, are knowledgeable. Anyone with heart knowledge is close to the truth. A heart filled with love for the world is a veil against God's light. A heart fallen for the afterlife is veiled from closeness to God. The more you love the world, the less your love for the afterlife. The more you love the afterlife, the less your desire for God. Know your value, protect yourself. Some elders say, if a person doesn't know their worth, fate will teach them. Don't sit where you should stand, don't run where you shouldn't enter, don't sit anywhere other than where the host wants. They won't give you the place you want. If you try to take it, they will pull you by the arm and throw you out with a kick. My child, you spent your life memorizing books but didn't act according to what you learned. How can that knowledge benefit you? Didn't our prophets say in a hadith, on the day of judgment, Allah the Exalted will manifest in the form of Suhei Tabla, saying, O prophets and scholars, you were the rulers of the people. What did you do for them? Then he turns to the kings, you were in charge of my treasures. Did you use them for those in need? How many orphans did you care for? Did you separate their rights and give to those who deserved them? My child, you must adhere to the advice of our prophet. Commit yourselves to his commands. Your heart, no matter how dark, reveals to me the darkened hearts of people through the divine. Whenever I wish to fly, the scissors of fate cut my wings, but how can I find my consolation? For I always live in the presence of my Sultan. O hypocrite, destruction will come to you, and you will see it in this world. You want me to leave here, but if I do, the earth would split, and all your beings would be torn apart, the words turned elsewhere. I fear the wrath of Allah, haste does not suit me. I am not a runner, I wait for my fate. Fate has opened a window for me, from where I observe everything and submit to its owner. O Allah, grant us safety. Shame on you for being concerned with me, yet I know the door of the truth, leading people there. Soon you will see your state. If you rise even a little, you will fall deep down. Soon you will face the calamity of Allah, his punishment will hold you in this world, and you will burn in the hereafter. The time is pregnant, and soon you will see what it bears. The hand of truth holds me, I become again, diminish to a speck, turn into a sea, then a drop. That hand turns me into the sun, then into a sparkle, a lightning, a night, and a day. Each day it takes a new form. This message is for you. Those not from you will interpret it only superficially. My child, if you want your heart to be broad and pleasant, do not listen to the talk of people, do not regard their words. They even speak ill of their Creator. Do you not know that one who challenges the Creator will not be pleased with you? Do you see how most of them think they have faith, yet they neither use their minds nor see the truth, nor enter the right path? They constantly lie and always deviate into denial. If you seek the pleasure of Allah, be patient with the troubles of people, they will talk. Allah tests many things, most of these tests come through the hands of his servants. Be patient, do not grieve. It is Allah's way to open the path of trial to his beloved servants. Whoever succeeds in it is victorious. The paths to his beloved may sometimes close, all kinds of trials and calamities come. The world becomes a calamity for them, and everything from the ground up oppresses them. Thus, their beings melt away. Once melted, they find the truth, become with it, and return to a new creation. Doesn't Allah the Exalted say in a noble verse, "Then we made him into a new creation"? The best of creators is grand and delightful. The elders have been from the first creation, created like everyone else. In the second creation, they separate. This creation is unlike the other, its meaning changes. In the second creation, they become a servant in a different sense, the lowly status is elevated. They transition to the spiritual and divine realm. When they see the heedless people, their heart tightens, they do not open their arms to the common world. In this state, everything is one for them, the world and the hereafter, the universe, and all that is created therein become a single existence. Once they see all as one existence, they reveal their secret and destroy everything, losing it in the realm of nothingness. Like the staff of Moses, did it not perform the same task? Allah is sublime, manifesting His power through whom He wishes, in what He desires. Did not the staff of Moses swallow the ropes of the magicians on that day? Neither the ropes appeared, nor did the staff swell. Allah wanted to show not His wisdom but His power. The magician's work was based on wisdom and geometric problems, but what Moses did was due to the power of truth, abolishing all norms. The leader of the magicians sensed this, sent one of his companions to Moses to check the situation. He returned, reporting that Moses's color changed. He left the staff to its state, and did what he had to do. The leader thought, this is the work of Allah. Moses cannot do this. He is not a magician or an artisan. If he were, he would trust what he did, and his color wouldn't change. Then all the magicians believed in Allah. My child, when will you enter the realm of wisdom, the science of power? When will your work bring you to the door of power, grace take you to His near realm, and when will the sun of knowledge rise for you? You will see the hearts of the good and the bad with it. Do not be frightened by the calamity that comes from Him, do not flee from the truth. He tests you, wanting to see if you will cling to causes and flee from His door when calamity finds you. Do you pass to the realm of nothingness, or do you know the external influences? Do you go to those who perceive, or do you delve into entities beyond the reach of mind? Do you hold on to what is visible? O Allah, do not test us with calamity, grant us closeness without affliction, bestow upon us proximity in grace. Grant us proximity without showing the disaster of fire. If the destined disaster is to be, make us like the salamander that lives in fire, whitened by it, not burned but comforted. Transform our state into the fire of Abraham, turn it as you did for him. Even if there is fire you give us, let there be greenery inside it, make us independent of all existence. You did so for Prophet Ibrahim, grant us your familiarity and protect us as you protected him. Before embarking on his journey, Ibrahim found a lifelong companion, a neighbor to protect his being. He found a friend, then set out on his journey. He chose a neighbor, then moved into his house. He sought remedies before illness came, found them. He learned patience before calamity struck, and he mastered sculpting before the verdict was given. Ibrahim is your spiritual father. Learn the way and rights from him and follow him. His word and work contain thousands of wisdom. The sublime who bestowed favors on him in the sea of calamity, who swam him in that sea and did not cut off his mighty hand from him, is grand. Allah is grand. He sent Ibrahim to the enemy, yet the enemy was on horseback, and he was on foot, his hands tied behind his back, wishing to rise to the heights, inviting the people to his meal, even though he only had enough food for one day. These are hidden and great favors. Child, be a servant of Allah. When fate arrives, make it a habit to be silent. In this state, you will perceive many wisdoms. The apprentice of Ikim Kalinos had much hardship but did not utter a word, received his dues, memorized all knowledge, and became a physician. Your work will not reach divine wisdom in the face of hardship. Be in need of everything, set yourself to prayer, then wait for wisdom. This is what cannot be. O Allah, grant us compliance, leave debate, give goodness in this world, and goodness in the hereafter. Protect us from the fire.